There is undoubtedly a lot of headline information that is out there that can cause you to stand still. It can cause you to spiral into negative headspaces. So, in this conversation, instead of talking about what you probably already know, rates, housing, transactions, president, recession, yada, 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 we're going to talk about what exactly Adrian and Zuber are doing in our businesses right now to move the needle forward. Adrian, what are you doing, man? What's going on?
What's going on, everybody? You guys, before we start, I'm going to say this because I
Mm.
love this channel and I love Zuber. That damn subscribe button, just press it, all right? Just press it. All right. So, what we're doing is not falling into the negativity that is going on in this market, in the economy. You guys, it is very easy to sit there and watch the news all day long and pay attention to all the negativity. So the first thing we're doing is we're blocking out the noise, right? Like, let's block out the noise. It's important to know what's going on. And how do I know what's going on? I watch Zuber's videos and it gives me the cliff notes of what the news just pretty much said in the most positive fashion, right? So I do that. And then it's like, what actions do we need to take? Because let's make no mistake about it, right? And I love this quote. I saw it the other day. It doesn't matter what president it is. It doesn't matter what happens. No one is going to change your personal situation besides yourself. So what do we do right now, right? That's like the question. It's the question I've been asking the entire team. What are we doing, right? And what we're doing, Zuber, is we're getting back to the basics.
Oh, we are going to poke at that a lot here in a minute. But one of the things that I have really harped on, and we've talked about this for years, but it is more important today than ever, is you have to take ownership of your social media feed. This is not the time to look at negative information. There is a whole industry called doom porn. There are doom porn creators that make six figures a year producing daily doom.
Wow.
Doom is good for no one except the creator. Please block these doomers, force them to get real jobs, and the world will be a better place. Literally block them. Stop telling yourself, I need to hear the other side. Their other side is causing you to do nothing. You have to do the work. There is no easy street. Stop watching these doom porn creators. It's disgusting
That's
what
so
they are doing and been doing it for 4 years. So that's the first thing you got to do is block that stuff.
That's so good. Fear sells, and it sells
Oh,
at a high level.
easy.
Easy. You know, it's funny. This morning, I happened to pop up Facebook, and first thing I see is someone taking a picture of a gas price, showing their whole thing about what they think this president is doing. And I'm like, you just spent 15 minutes. Like, let's get to work. Right? Let's go. What are we doing to move this forward? But you're right. It's because of that doom porn, right? You watch one, you watch a second one, you watch a third one. And before you know it, you're talking to your buddy on how bad the market is or what could happen or a recession that's coming, right? You guys, I believe, Zuber, we overcomplicate this. It's much more simpler than it needs to be, right? I'm actually on the verge of deleting Instagram in general and just not even clicking on it in a time like this.
No, I think honestly, I think most people would be better off for just deleting Instagram, deleting TikTok. Absolutely. I have spent the last 6 months pruning Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Let me tell you this story. Twitter, if you don't know, is the most toxic app of everything.
Twitter.
However, yeah, Twitter, X.
Wow.
Uh, if you spend time purposefully blocking idiots, morons, and trolls, Twitter's an amazing place. Twitter is a place where operators go and share what's going on in real time.
Hmm.
It just gets lost with all these doom, hateful trolls. And dude, my Twitter feed's amazing. I get motivated watching my Twitter feed now. And
Right.
you just got to take ownership. The problem that most people have is they blame the app. Hey, moron, the app is giving you more of what you clicked on. Is it the app or is it the person clicking on the stuff? Stop clicking on that stuff. Take some ownership of your life and stop freaking crying.
So good. A matter of fact, right now, all of you pull up your explore page on your Instagram and just ask yourself, is your explore page moving you
Yeah.
towards your goals, or is it pulling you away from them? Very simple.
And I tell you what, if you spent a week blocking anybody who produces fear, anybody who produces doom, your feeds will be motivational, inspirational. My feed now on Twitter is operators and dogs. I love dogs.
I love it.
Dude, it's amazing.
I love it. I love, as we're talking about this, the social media part is so important. Definitely take control of that, guys. But I want to correlate this to also the people you're surrounding yourselves with. Stop, like the same thing we're doing on social media that Zuber just said. We need to do the same thing with the people that we're surrounding ourselves with and the people we're talking to on a daily basis.
Amen.
I am purposely not answering certain phone calls because I know what those phone calls are.
Yeah, they're just whining and bitching. That doesn't help anybody.
No, and I don't have time for it. And I would literally just ignore it. And you guys, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm perfectly okay with that because I do not need their negative energy or whatever they think is going on to affect what I got going on. Right? What you got going on. Keep this clear, guys. Keep this clear. You would not put dirt in your car's gas tank.
Right.
Exactly. Don't do that here.
Yeah.
Be careful.
That's one of the things that I'm so happy for. One of the things I took a leap of faith for after the Think Media event that you, I, and Ty were both at is I started a school community. We're now over 210, 215 folks paid. They're paid. This is not, you don't come here. You're not spending $20 a month to be a troll. So we got everybody in there wants to be there. Everybody's doing the work. Everybody's asking questions, networking. It is quickly becoming one of the most positive places on the internet. And I'm so glad I took that leap of faith, creating another unique, safe space for people who do the work. And dude, we have 2 accountability groups now. Without me lifting my finger, 2 people raised their hand and said, I want to do an accountability group. So there's one Wednesday night and another one Sunday afternoon. So it's so awesome. So yeah. Take care of who's around.
How do people find that?
Just one rental at a time. Go to school. I'll put a link below, but yeah, it's just one rental at a time. Everything I do is one rental at a time. But yeah, it's amazing. And once I got to 200, the community is starting to build on itself. I used to have to poke it to get interaction. Now it's like a beautiful thing to watch. Just the community build. So it's so happy.
That is so good. That is so good. It's building a good tribe. It's building a like-minded tribe of people that can all come in and share one positive thing that will affect everyone else, right? Exactly. You're taking control of a community, or whoever's joining, right? You're taking control of yourself and putting yourself in a community. That's so good, Zuber. I love what you're doing, man.
Yeah, if you're gonna spend $20 a month, don't be a wallflower. Introduce yourself. I promise the community will show love and respect. Ask a question, tell them your buy box, tell your story. It's all there for you. Sign up today, join. You won't regret it. Adrian, I want to go back to something you said earlier, back to basics. I think the last 4 years, the real estate market we were in was moving quick. There's lots of fly-by-night, get-rich-quicks, and the market bailed a lot of people out. Lots of new tools, lots of new thises and that's. And, we're in a real estate recession, at least on a transaction basis, if not depression. So what is this whole back to the basics thing? Because the basics always work. Sometimes we forget about them. But what are some basics you mean by that?
Yeah. Let's chunk it down. I start with the morning. So we all heard about the morning routine. What are the basics that you need, that you were doing, that helped you get to where you were in the morning that you got away from, right? That's what I mean by that. So for me, I go back and I go, all right, well, I was journaling more in the morning. I was showing up to the office at 7:30 in the morning. I was actually not waking up at 5 a.m. I was at the gym at 5 a.m. So you start to look back at what are the little basics, right? So I love Gino Blafari talks about meds, right? And he says meds is meditation, eat, diet, and sleep, right? Meditation, diet, eat, and sleep, right? So do that. Yeah, meds. Well, we'll swap the E and the D. So he talked about meds. And so that's the first part, because I believe that these little tiny stacks of wins eventually make one big win. But all of those little tiny stacks of wins are spread out throughout different categories. It's not just the basics of picking up the phone, looking at numbers, looking at the market, but what are you doing personally? So the first part is personally, what are you doing in the morning? Second part, what are you doing what are the basics you do when you get to the office? Were you role playing and you stop role playing? Like one thing I'm challenging the team on right now is we got to get back to role playing. Every day at 9:30, we're role playing. What are the new objections that are coming up? What are the basics? What are the basic little one-liners that we got to get back to that we got away from? And then when we look at lead generation, and no matter what you do, whether that be your buying rentals, whether that be your fix and flipping or your wholesaling, what are the basics to get deals? Not the 50K spend in PPC. No, what are the basics to get deals, right? Drive for dollars, cold calling, contacts. How many contacts do we make? It's basic. How many contacts do we need to make, right? One thing I found is as our business grows, the more complicated we make this. And when the market changes and there's a lot of complication, you lose a lot of money. So in order to get rid of that, we got to get back to simple, and simple is the basics. So then outside of the contacts, it's like, okay, then what is your follow-up basics, right? What are your appointment basics? Like, let's just look at everything and go, what are the one? I'm not asking for a 10th step. I'm asking for 1, 2. That's it, right? And it will allow us to just, what I noticed is it calms me down. It kind of slows me down, but it allows me to be much more hyper focused and laser focused on my leads versus being super scattered. It helps me be much more laser focused on my business versus this big overcomplicated blob, if I'm making sense.
Oh, it's absolutely. I think one of the things that's going to be very interesting is some people like yourself are going to go back to the basics. A slower market hurts everybody. There's just 40% less transactions.
Right.
So unless you get back to the basics, unless you focus on what is working versus what used to work, you're going to get run over. You and I both know there are people that were in our industry the last 4 years that frankly got lucky, and they're going to bust out, and they're likely going to bust out in a spectacular way. But it's our job to get through this. I do think we're just about the bottom of transactions, which will be good. I think July might prove to be the bottom, if not August. And then we could build from there. It's not going to get remarkably better, but if you right size for this environment, you do the basics, you will come out of this so much stronger. Your competition, dude, half the competition's going to go away. It's going to be amazing.
Now is the time to get market share. I was talking about this morning. Now is the time where you are going to absorb market share if you're out there doing what you need to do, executing on a daily basis. I couldn't believe that more. And to Zuber's point, Zuber, I can't count how many wholesalers and agents have left the industry that I personally know in the last 2 months.
Oh, it's just ramping. It's going to get ugly. And on that, right, August 17th, the NAR settlement goes into effect. The entire housing transaction market will be changed forever. And a lot of agents aren't going to know how to deal with it. A lot of agents, it's going to be new conversations you're not prepped for. Buyer's agents specifically, your entire world is flipped upside down. However, if you look at the opportunity in front of you, there actually could be a whole nother way you attack this market. I think buyer's agents are incentivized now to create a long list of investor Rolodexes. Your job, if I were to tell a buying agent one thing today, is you need to go research who's buying properties, who's bought more than one property in the last 2 years. In your area, there's probably a list of 200 or less who have bought multiple properties. There's a good guess that most of those are investors. Your job is to get those investors on a contact or phone call or whatever. You got to try to meet them all. And what you should be asking for is, what's your buy box? What do you buy? And then you're going to create this almost prism of what you buy. And then your job is to go, hey, sign this buyer agreement. If I bring you a deal, I will get the sell side commission if there is one, but also, you know what? You give me a 1% bonus, but you only pay me on stuff that I bring you. Right? Look at this as an opportunity to get paid more, not less. Just do the work, do the basics. In, in the old real estate world, it was list to last, right? If I'm a buyer's agent, it should be find the investors to last.
So good.
That's what
So
I've been
good.
doing.
Buyer's agent, go back, re-listen to that, write that down. It's the most important piece in this game that I believe. And then we've been telling agents this forever, right? It's just now they finally have no choice to be able to.
No choice now.
Now you have no choice, right? I couldn't agree with you more. And also, Zuber, I want to bring up, I can also see there be a new business of strictly an agency that only works with buyers and charges
Absolutely
a flat fee. And
correct.
maybe there's even a subscription. I don't know how this works, but maybe there's a subscription base behind it. And there's a whole nother business that turns from this. I do not see this as chaos. I personally believe that this is opportunity.
I agree with you. It would shock me if on August 18th, Zillow and or Redfin and or someone else doesn't come out with a fixed price buyer something.
Yeah. Yeah. If they have it, no, you're right. It's already created. They're just ready to launch it.
Yeah. Because they want to make sure there's no delay or extension or other nonsense that could do that. And I mean, they had to be working on this. They had 6 months.
There's no way they haven't been.
I would, if they haven't worked on this, they're idiots. And let's hope they're not idiots. But now let's talk about investors. The other thing that I think, again, I've been in the game 20 some odd years. The last 4 years have been bananas. The real estate market's slowing down, which means it's getting easier and easier to find motivated sellers. It's never easy, but it's easier. So, write disrespectful offers, follow up, remind. Oh, by the way, learn seller financing, because again, you could get first or seconds. This is the time when some folks, Adrian, have to sell, not want to sell, have to sell.
And need to tomorrow.
Yeah, I want to buy from those people. Those are the people I want to buy from. So again, folks, it's just the time to do the work is going to work.
So good. Doing the work, getting in front of the people, guys. As Zuber, and to Zuber's point, we are coming across, we're direct to seller. We are seeing desperate sellers right now, right? The difference, if you guys are direct to seller, here's going to be the difference. It's your skill set and your ability to relate with that seller and get that seller to choose you over the other investors is how you're going to win, or you as the agent. So one thing, we talk about the basics, get back to the basics. And I did talk about this, so I'm going to say it again. Get back to the basics of role playing. Get back to the basics of skill set. You guys, right now, the skilled will win. And I'm like harping this into the team because yes, motivated sellers are easier to find. However, they're not only talking to 2 people anymore. They're talking to 10. And you better come correct with the right number, and you better come correct with the right skill set, right? So couldn't spot on, Zuber.
Yeah, the last thing I would tell you is if I was one of those 10 people in that meeting is listen to the seller and realize it doesn't have to always be cash. I think because I get phone calls all the time for people trying to buy something I own. It's like, oh, I'll give you cash. Well, how do you know cash is what I want? Maybe I want income. Maybe I want to, delay taxes. Maybe something else, right? So again, understand that there's lots of ways to do it. It's not always the highest price that wins.
Nope.
And yeah. So
we see that happen every day, guys. Well, oh yeah, we went with your offer, but we had an offer 20K over. Okay, why? Right? There's always that underlayer. And then when somebody says, this is important, if somebody needs to sell and there is a gap, and for some reason you're not, like, they need to sell. And I bring this up because this is what's happening right now in our team. They need to sell, but you're not really getting through to them. There's a block on price. There's a block on whatever the case may be. I want to remind you of something. There is going to be somebody that gets them to understand why they need to take that price. Somebody is going to not convince them. There's no convincing here. Remember, they need to sell. Someone is just going to help them understand what the price needs to be. I bring this up because there are people that need to sell. Their price may be a little outrageous at the beginning. It's your job to stay on the phone with them, to uncover the needs, to uncover the things that is deeply there, so we can bridge that price gap. Because if there is a need, we cannot get off the phone, guys. We cannot leave from that appointment. This is, I'm seeing it with my team right now, and it's someone's going to convince them, not convince them, someone's going to help them understand.
Yeah. It's really funny, and I mean this entirely. I have never closed on a transaction from a motivated seller the first time. Never done a one call close. Frankly, never would want to do a one call close. Right. My first offers are meant to just, anchor someone.
Right.
And the money is in the follow-up. If you want to talk about getting back to the basics, don't only contact how many phone calls you made, but talk about how many follow-ups you've done.
Yep.
Right. Again, just because a deal goes pending with someone else doesn't mean it closes.
No.
Probably 40% of the deals I've closed, they were in contract with someone else. And it's because I followed up. I bought it with no competition. Now, how did I buy it with no competition? Because I followed up. I talked to the agent. They said the guy's getting sketchy. Is your number still good? Yes, it is. Let's put a backup in. And I had no competition. It never went back on the MLS. Follow up, follow up, follow up.
So good. It's we actually brought on, I think I mentioned this to you 3 weeks ago. We brought someone on to specifically, her only job is just to follow up every day with every single lead.
Genius.
That's all, because, and all of you guys, what I've noticed, some of you that have databases that you've been prospecting for the past year, you guys go back to those databases, go call everybody that you once, but I guarantee you there are 3 or 4 deals in what you already have.
Yeah, there's a lot of people always looking to go top of funnel instead of like, look in your funnel.
Right, exactly. And that's all. It's funny. We did a deep dive. We got 3 deals right off the jump just from her going through it. I'm like, pause this. Let's dive deep on the database, because we know it's there, guys. So you don't have to go far. This is such a good tie-in. You don't have to go far. You don't have to overcomplicate it. Keep it simple. Do the work. Execute, and it's going to happen. Now is that time.
Yeah. Lastly, where we started this, keep the headspace right. Because if you let just a little dirt into the engine or poison into your water, it'll kill you.
Yes, it will.
Right? Block those people. Adrian, where can people find you?
Instagram, guys, at Adrian Hernandez. And again, don't leave. Don't exit without hitting that subscribe button.
I appreciate you guys. Take care. Thanks.